Hi guys, welcome to another analysis. This is game 2 of the London Imperial College Congress open section. I'm going to start the video with finally a walk-in video. As I said, I forgot to do the one on Friday night. So this is Saturday morning. So let me play that first, and then I'll discuss the game and various other things that happened on the day. So bear with while I press some buttons. And hopefully this will work straight away. Move this out of the way. Don't be a pain. There we go. There's my happy face. Here we go.
Good morning all. It's my first video of the weekend for the Imperial Chess Congress. I'm in South Kent now, just walking past the Natural History Museum. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the date is the 4th of November, so when I see this, I get a bit confused. So, I played a game last night and did pretty well. Started believing that I might actually be quite handy, but then I got illusions of grandeur, tried to sack a piece. Okay, it worked in say 2-3 lines, but it didn't work in the 4th line, and even then I got a little bit unlucky because my opponent didn't see what was to come. Because I know this, because when we got to the critical moment I won his queen, he stopped, but luckily he had enough for his pass pawn. So, oh man, I mean, computer says it was going to be it was level, but I'd have to play perfectly, and I did quite well up to a point, and then I stumbled. But I'll go through that game because that was a good game. So I'll definitely be doing an analysis video on that one. So this morning's obviously day 2. My second round game is against a guy I played before in the London League. He's very strong. He's a 198 ECF. And last time we played I was white, and I'm white today. And he played the Perk, Pierce, whatever you want to call it. And I remember trying very hard with Harry to get Harry to open up the H file and checkmate him no problem. And then he came around the back and bashed me with both his knights. So if that happens again, I'll be most upset, but I'm ready for that at least. It's funny because the database says he plays the Sicilian, but it was only last season I played him, so I suspect the Perk is coming. Anyway, this area is just so nice, what can I say? So lucky to live so close to such a lovely city. I'll be walking past the Albert Hall in a minute, but I don't want the video to go on for too long. So yeah, so hopefully I'll get at least one good game today, so I can do some analysis on that as well. I'll do a video of the venue tomorrow, just so you know what it looks like, Imperial College. Might do a quick video tonight if we end up in the bar and have a couple of beers. If there's some blitz going on, maybe I can get a video of the blitz, but we'll see. I mean, I'm no promises on that one. But for now, I'll see you later. Bye. Good morning all. It's my first video.
Whoa. You only get like your 2 minutes of fame, Mr. Chesspatzer. Yes, unfortunately, I was feeling a bit ill towards the end of the day, as you can now hear in my voice and the way I keep grabbing tissues. So there was no blitz in the bar later, though we did have a beer, and it was very jovial. I met some people that I've spoken to before, but we made better friends this time. So shout out to Carl if he watches this one. I'm trying to recruit him for the mushrooms, and also to Howling Mad Benji. Thanks for saying hi, guy. I thought he's someone who watches YouTube. He follows me on Twitch as well, and it was quite funny. He came over to shake my hand, and I was sitting at a table, one of the chess boards where I'd just done a bit of quick analysis, and I actually he thought that I was his opponent for the next round, but he was actually just saying hi. So it was nice to meet you, mate. So thanks for coming over and saying hi. So without too much further ado, I'm going to go back into the game. As I mentioned in the walking video, I have played this guy before, and I have a healthy respect to not try and mate him with the H pawn. I think that was very enthusiastic of me last year, and actually quite an interesting game. So maybe at some point I'll dig out some of my older games, because I have played. You know, everyone has their Mona Lisa of chess, and to be honest, this game was nearly that. Well, I'll come to that later on, but I think it's right that I show what I consider my best games at some point. For now, this is more like a diary of my year in chess, if you like. See if I can end the season better than I start, which at the moment isn't going to be very difficult. So anyway, into the game. E4, D6. So we have the Pierce perk, whatever you want to call it. Exactly the same as last time I played him, so not shocked by this. But as I say, I took far too many risks last time, so this time I was always going to be a little bit more cagey and respect him a bit more. I mean, you don't want to over-respect your opponent because otherwise you will just eventually crumble without much resistance. But you should also admit that, you know, sacking a H pawn and trying to mate him on G7 isn't always the way forward. So let me. It's fairly quiet at the beginning of the game. It's not too much to explain. So I'm just gonna whiz through because this game is a bit longer than last night's game. So D4, G6, Knight F3. I love it how the computer hates the Pierce perk. I mean, it's already almost -1, which is just rubbish because it's clearly a very tough opening. As I'm sure many of you have played against and know and suffered. Sorry, bear with a second. Wow, I'm a combination of Red Bull, water, and tissues to get me through this video. And I will. There's no way nothing will stop me apart from power cut. Anyway, Bishop E3, just defending the D pawn. Come on. Knight F6, attacking the E pawn, defend the E pawn. Now, Knight C6 is tricky. Remember what I said before about getting killed by the two knights? I was expecting these two moves. Obviously, Knight F6 is more obvious than Knight C6. But his knight did eventually come around on these squares and started harassing my light square bishop. And I had a lot of trouble while I was basically just chucking Harry up the board. And hoping for better. He even castled kingside and he just whooped me. So I had that in mind, obviously, at the beginning of the game. So I played C3. Totally solid. 0.5 advantage for white. Nothing to worry about. Those knights, they're not coming to get me this time. Oh, that's what I told myself at the beginning of the game anyway. Oh man, right, this better be the last nose blow, otherwise I'm going to have to start the video again. I do apologise. Anyway, castles. H3, I don't want his bishop coming in. I don't want his knight coming in. Knight coming in is probably a little bit more worrying. I don't want him to hassle my dark square bishop. So H3's in. E5. That's what he's geared up for. He doesn't want me to play E5. It's the right move to play in the position. Here I did take a little bit of a think here, but I think if I take, I think it's just better for him, one way or the other. If I take, I'm just gonna play some moves. Takes. Okay, so his bishop is blocked in, but this bishop's useless. It's actually fairly easy for him to build up on the D file. There's pressure on the E pawn the whole time. I don't have pressure on his E pawn. It's the computer's even agreeing. It's going 0.2 to black here. So taking, I just didn't like that position at all in any way, shape, or form. So I was never going to take. He also has a lot of pieces on the board, and this is just another general rule of thumb. If your opponent has lots of pieces and you can take space, then you should do so, because it's a lot harder to move those pieces around when there's no space. So D5 for me was quite a natural move, and it's quite amusing here because though it's a natural move in the position, it's not how I normally play against the perk. I mean, I'm usually playing H4, H5 and trying to crush you as quickly as possible. So I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone here, but it's the right move to play. So never be scared about it. I mean, if it comes down to it, you need to, reset and just say, well, I'm never going to play the H pawn attack in this. What's the next thing I can do? I can try and restrain, because that is one thing I've got from this open is a lot of space. So he moves his knight back. It's not got millions of squares, so it didn't take him long to play. And I followed up with C4 because, one, I want to keep defending this pawn. Maybe he wants to play C6, start attacking again. I want to, now my plan is literally just to launch the queen side at him So, when the king side failed, perhaps the queen side can make up for it. And it's almost like a king's injured position now. And I've got to say, I'm an e4 player, so I don't really know that much about it. But I have seen the odd classic game, and I know that I'm supposed to expand on the queen side and basically try and attack d6 and try very hard to crush through. And I was also expecting his counterplay to be f5. So at this stage, that's what I was thinking about. So c4 is played, and also my knight's a lot better on c3 than it ever is on d2, and that's the other reason why I played c4. So c4 was a logical move in lots of ways. Played c5, which is very brave, and the reason I say that, it's not because I'd ever take en passant, because I think I'm just probably worse here. I mean, just what the computer says. He could take back with even, to be honest, B or the knight. And now he's got potential for breaking in the centre, and I haven't really got that queenside push that I mentioned earlier either. So taking is just bad. So I was never going to take. So I have to consider this position. Okay, he's blocked it up, but the downside is he still has a lot of pieces. So if there's no break, I mean, potentially Bella was. I mean, he even said himself, it's c6 here because at least it's flexible, and he may at some point take the d pawn. You give yourself options. If you play c5, it's very committal. But seeing his next white game, his next black game later on, he likes that c5 move. He's just something I think he's pre-planned to do. And he has a 198, and he has been 2200. So technically, he's a candidate master, but he just doesn't want the title. He says he's embarrassed to take it because he's only 2000 now. But I say, you take that title, mate. You got there. If I ever in Dreamland got up to 2200, I'm taking that title. I'm applying for it as soon as that last game comes in. But that's a story from maybe 10 years time. So he doesn't play c6, he plays c5, and he, at the end of the day, he is clamping down on the queen side and making it harder for me to push my pawns there. But it's not stopped it completely. Like I say, it's very committal. He's trying to lock down the queen side so he can then play on the king side. So I've got these things in mind, which is why I haven't castled yet as well. So knight c, it's just a natural move, knight c3. He plays a6. I play queen c2. Now you're thinking, why are you playing queen c2? And it's literally, a lot of this is, I mean, okay, I don't want to use this term like I'm some sort of undercover master, but there's a word called prophylaxis. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this word, and all it is a posh way of saying, okay, well, what's my opponent eventually going to do? What's his breaks in the position? And I already mentioned it a few times, but it's going to be f5. F5 is the move he wants to play in this position, because he's not going to get any play on the queen side. I'm on the queen side. You can't do that. So queen c2 is literally all aimed at, because at the moment he's got a knight on f5. He's got his bishop on f5. The pawn will be on f5. There's a pawn on g4 and a rook on f8. So he can play f5. So when it happens, I want to be able to try and counter it. I'm already thinking in my head of potentially my knight coming around to attack there, maybe play g4 again, clamp down on this square. So he's trying to stop my play on the queen side, and I'm trying to stop his play on the king side. Both of us before we've even done it, which is pretty funny. Maybe we should just offer each other a draw here and just say, yeah, all right, I see you trying to stop my plan and you're stopping my plan. So let's just shake hands. But, no way, because I want to get this guy from the way he just treated me like a child last time we played. So, no, I want to get this guy this time. I'm going to be a lot slower on my build-up, but I'm going to go for him. So, bishop d7, potentially going to play b5. Stop that. You're not having any counterplay on the queen side. No, you're not. For those that are interested, the computer's saying slight edge for white here, mainly due to the space. As I say, he's got possibly too many pieces for his position. If he could just swap one piece, he'd be nice and comfortable, no problems. So b6, played b6 because I was actually threatening to play a5 in some lines and potentially bring my knight into b6. It's possible. I mean, a few things have to happen. I have to defend my rook first. But I'll be happy if he ever swapped his light square bishop for my knight, because his light square bishop, as I say, is one, good for f5, and 2, maybe b5 at some point. You never know. So I would have been happy with those swaps. And if I ever get a knight in there, then okay, the queen side is locked down, and I've got maybe that knight's no good there, but it's an idea. Maybe it can come back in later on. But he stops that. He just plays b6. So no fun there. Obviously, I'm not going to play a5 now because he just played b5 again. But now I'd have to worry about the queen side. And b6, it's given me a healthy plus. I'm 0.46 here. So as sitting here, I'm not nervous at all. It's weird how at the beginning of each game, when I'm playing, as I say, in all my opponents, the average ECF is 180. I wasn't scared of any of them, and that's a good sign for me, because maybe a year, 2 years ago, I would be bottling it already. I wouldn't even be trying to crush them. And you should try to crush them, because it's good to tell your mates later. If it works out. And if not, well, at least you went out with a bang rather than a damp squib. So, b6, g4. Now, this isn't like some massive gung-ho kingside attack. Not yet. This is literally just to cover f5. His knight's now never ever going to be able to drop round into f4, where he would possibly hope that I would take with a bishop, he'd take with a pawn. I've seen it all before in other games, and then he gets a really nice dark square bishop covering all these squares. So g4 stops all of that, and h5 would have been answered by g5, and again his knight has to move somewhere. I've got a big clamp on f5. I'd be pretty happy. Obviously, we'd have to maneuver around a bit, but because I've got more space, I would hope that my pieces could find better squares than his. So that's why I played g4. He dropped his knight back. I guess potentially to play f5. It's not. I haven't stopped f5. It's just if he does take it, I feel like I'm in a position where it's more chances for me than him. But he might have to play f5 anyway, just because what else does he do otherwise? So I play rook g1. This is simple chess 101. I'm lining up the rook with the king, which means if he does play f5 now, at least there may be a pin on the bishop at some point. So just a normal move. I'm 0.5 up here. So it seemed natural to me. I was never going to castle king, so I wouldn't be the point, eh? He just moves the king out the way. Very sensible. And I play h4. Because, I mean, in this state, look where his knights are. In the other game, which I will show at some point, probably, because it'll be nice to back up with what happened before and what I learned from it. His knights are not all over me. There's not like two knights joined up here together, absolutely destroying me. I can't remember. He had a knight here and a knight here or something. There's one of these 4 squares, and my king was here, and there was knight forks to win my queen, my rooks. It was horrible. He just destroyed me. In this position, I've taken a lot more control first. Now I'm going for him. Just play h5, sack a pawn. I could play king e2, king d2, bring the other rook over. Pretty straightforward gung-ho attack, but why not? Because all his pieces are back on the back rank. Look, he's on rank 2 and 1 for him, 2 and 1, or 7-8 for me. I never know which way around you're supposed to say it. I guess it's from my point of view. So all his pieces are on the 8th and 7th rank. Though that still sounds wrong. But anyway, so that's why I've got on now with h4, because now I feel like I can attack him. f5 anyway, very brave, and not bad. It's still only 0.4 for white here. So it's his only break, so he has to play it if he wants to play for anything other than a draw. So fair play to him. He didn't take long to play it, and when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take it, because why would I not want to open g-file where your king is? And he took back. Now, I don't know if he'd play it, but just playing one pawn down locks the position and make his dark square bad forever. But it's going to make it very hard for me to ever attack, because my bishop will be stuck behind this pawn, and it'll take a while for it to come back round and maybe come out this way. It's a long trip, and he'll get to play a lot of moves. Perhaps he can start moving his heavier pieces around to the king side, bring his knight round. perhaps not that one, this one, and then go back to playing b5 again. So f4 would be a kind of threat. It's also just threatening to take, and then I've got a knight on pre. Admittedly, just bishop takes would defend that, but it's a little bit awkward. Okay, but then I'll be attacking his f board, h board too. So okay, maybe f4 is the actual move that he'd be threatening there. So obviously I took that into account, and I pinned the knight. So this knight is pinned, and it's no longer defending f5. So I can now take that. Happy days. And open up a nice line, another diagonal against his king. Gosh, excuse me. I'm really sorry about this, but no, the cold is kicking my ass. Come on, Red Bull, fight back. Red Bull, let's go. Let's Nakamura this guy. So he played f4, closing the position as I just mentioned. And also, potentially, I don't know, getting rid of my good bishop by just playing h6. I have to swap it for the knight because it's trapped. So I gave myself a square, and my knight a square too. And potentially, I'll just keep the pin. It's multi-purpose h5. And maybe even h6. I mean, I'm threatening h6 as well. So, okay, it will be a swap of dark square bishops, but it's almost a big pawn, that bishop, but it's also defensive. So if it's swapped off, then happy days. Maybe I can bring in my knight afterwards. There's a square on e6 here that I have not unnoticed. I've been crushed many times in the Dutch because of e6. So I can understand where black would be coming from any sort of paranoia point of view. So let me carry on. He played bishop f6. It's a good move. Computer's actually saying it's 0.2 here for white, so he's defending well. And he actually laughed after my next move, and I didn't know why he laughed. And originally I was like, why are you laughing? I mean, obviously I'm castling and then just getting another rook into the game. And he said to me after the game, "You did that. You're the only person who's done that to me in 2 games in a row, where you castle queenside into terrible pawn structures." And I said, yeah, but where else was I going to go? I mean, admittedly, I just mentioned I could push my king to e2 or to d2, but it's always got the d2 square anyway. And the advantage of this is that the rook is always lined up with the queen. And I just like that as a general move. I generally just like these moves because you'd be amazed how many times pawns and pieces get moved out the way. There's a lot of pawns and pieces in the way here. It's probably not going to happen, but say anything happens over on the queen side and there's a break and he gets a rook check or whatever, I'm obviously going to be looking for that. And when my king sits there, it's actually the safest king in the world. There's nothing going to attack it when it's got all these beautiful light square pawns in front of it, which he can't attack. So though he chuckled, I think he was just more amused at the fact that it happened in 2 games, because this is similar to the first game, except for the fact that, as I said, I've taken him a lot more seriously. And I'm trying to play on both sides of the board, which is unusual for me. And that's why I was saying earlier, this could have been one of my best games. And obviously, me saying could have been is maybe giving away something. But you have to bear with me, because this game's still good. So what he played, is knight c7. Because I mentioned earlier, he'd really like to play b5 and kick my ass, basically. But my spider senses went mental here, and the reason they went crazy is because I don't know, sometimes pattern recognition comes in, sometimes it doesn't for me. I'm not, one day I'm gonna, I hope, get it in every game, and then I'm gonna be, well, that looks a bit interesting, because these pawns aren't as stable as they look. You'd think, well, they're never moving. But he's opened himself up to a possibility of them moving, because at the end of any pawn chain movement, I've got that. And I've given away the combination now. But that's how I thought in the game, and I was thinking, well, I'm not being funny, but this either works or it doesn't. So I need to have a real hard look at this. And I'll come up with that it does work. And the reason it works is this. Bang. Now you're thinking, I can just take it. And to be honest, that's what happens in the game, so I'll come back to that. But he was considering playing this because his rook is now attacking two pieces. Because if the bishop moves, then he can just take the knight. And so if bishop takes, I'm just losing a piece basically. But I had a nice in-between move, which obviously I worked out, especially after yesterday's game, because, you know, if you're going to do sacrifices, you really should look at all the obvious alternatives, right? And obviously the biggest one is him just taking the bishop with the pawn. But that's the main line, so we'll come back to that. But here, I was just going to play h6. Because if he takes my bishop, I'm taking with check. And that's a killer pawn. I mean, look at it. It'd be quite funny to see what the score's going to be on this. Yeah, I'm +2 here. It's just going to move his king out of the way. But you don't want this. This pawn is really weak. I'm going to drop the knight can come in. I can bring the rook over. You know, it's horrible for black. So h6. He would then. Let's see what the computer thinks. He says bishop f6, but then the bishop and knight are no longer attacked. So I could just drop the bishop back, and that's fine. So I just win a clear pawn, and it's 1.5 here. So that was all okay. It wasn't very hard to work out. So step 1 was complete. Now step 2, as I say, I may as well show you the line because it happened, so I don't have to talk about it too much. Bishop takes, pawn up. Remember, I've already explained what's going to happen at the end of this. But the key is seeing that and then seeing the very next move, which I obviously failed to do in the first game. But I saw the very next move, so I'm going to give you a couple of seconds once I get there to see what you would play. Bishop takes, pretty force. Knight takes, pawn takes, fork. Knight moves. Now, I will say here, I am a pawn down, I think. Let's just count them. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, no, so we're level pawns. But when I take that knight, he's going to take back with his queen, and he'll be a pawn up. And I'm not being funny, but if this knight ever jumps into here, he's actually killing me again. Remember what I said about him and his knights? That would be really tough for me to try and defend against. Especially if the queen side starts opening, having a knight on d4, it'd be game over. But as I said, I'm not scared at all here. I'm actually feeling really confident because also a good move for white. Before he attacks me, I attack him. Now, this move is big for a couple of reasons, and it's not just the fact that I've gained 10p on his queen. It's the fact that this pawn is almost impossible to defend. And I don't think he saw this part because he didn't. He played the combination fairly fast up to this point, and he went for a fag. He said he went for a cigarette, and he said this is after the game obviously, and he said I was always just going to play Queen f7, and I thought I was fine. So he did play Queen f7, and he came back to the table to face this. And you're thinking, okay, attacking a pawn, so I can defend a pawn. How are you defending that pawn? You can't defend that pawn is the answer. You know, there's no queen here because the knight's covered it. There's no queen here. Whoops. Ah! There's no queen there because the rook will take it. It's quite visible. You can't push it because queen takes is just crushing as well. There would possibly be a threatening check there on e5 after taking the pawn. It's a nasty position. And the computer is saying +4. So I'm +4 against a 198. And don't get me wrong, I'm not +4 and sitting there going, oh, I don't think I'm winning this game. I'm absolutely celebrating inside my head. I'm like, I played a lovely, beautiful combination. I'm not actually sure how he's going to defend this. Well, I couldn't see the win-win. +4 is not checkmate. But I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way he gets out of this. This is good. This is revenge. I'm really happy with myself. I restrained his play. I've been playing really well. I'm patting myself on the back basically and saying, you know, I'm great. So he plays the best defensive move, and they'll show why it's the best defensive move in a second. I take the pawn check, obviously. Forced is knight blocks, and I keep that pin because the point is this pin is killing him because after h6, it's over. Yeah, so I'm still very happy. I'm patting myself on the back. Computer's still +4. I've saw the position up to me winning that pawn from bishop takes f4. So I'm really proud of myself here, which is a sin in itself. Only pat yourself on the back if you finish the game off properly, right? Just do so many spoilers, but you don't understand what's going to happen. You will do soon. So he's basically just getting crushed here. I'm like, I'm going to be at 198. I'm so happy. Oh my god, oh my god. So plays the best defensive move, which is rook e6. And I toyed for a while because I'm not blind. I can see that everything's pinned and I can play bishop here, which is the best computer move. But don't get me wrong. This isn't one of those positions where there's only one line that wins. There's a couple, but wait a second. And I'll show the computer line because I considered it. I didn't get too far into it, to be honest. And I thought the defense was just that he was just going to go here and just threaten to take this pawn, and it was going to be over. But there's unfortunately a few tactics like this, and now the rook and queen are lined up, which is part of the reason why having the rook on the d file when I castled was really useful. I could take this pawn. Originally, I don't think I thought I could take that because of the rook defending it, completely overlooking the fact that I'm just attacking his queen. Queen e7, it's saying. And I guess I'll just bring the knight back, and it's just I'm pawns up. Oh, rook d7. That's really forcing. Okay, yeah, it's just crushing. It's a crush. It's over. There's no defending this knight. It's it's resigned times. And he actually said himself, annoyingly, had I played that, he may have resigned. I don't think he would have resigned. I think he was lying. I think he would have made me play it out. But in fact, rook h6 isn't the best defensive move. The best defensive move is rook d6, which makes way more sense. And I think he'd probably find it because he's very good. And this line still +5, so so it'll be hard to defend. But you don't need to see every single line when you're trying to win a chess game. You just need to see a line that does win. So let me go back to rook e6. Nothing wrong with this move. Rook g5. Bring the other rook over. Literally the same idea of going along this way, but more blatantly I'm going along this way. If he starts groveling, bringing his rook in, he's going to run out of squares very soon. And I do have a white square bishop that can attack these light squares. But that's a long story short. In my head, just build up, keep the pressure going, and then mate him. Just bishop f5 was a little quicker for doing so, as you saw. So he played again the right defensive move, but this is now +6. So false move, of course. Why would I not put it here? Obviously, in my head, I'm like, rook takes, bishop takes. The queen goes somewhere. I can bring the other rook over and move the bishop back out the way. I'm in no rush. I can take him down that way. So he takes the rook. And here, I picked the bishop up and saw the best move. Bishop takes is still winning. I just want to make that clear. But h takes is just, I wish I had sat on my hands just for a tiny bit longer. This is +9. And the reason it's +9 is because it doesn't really matter where the queen goes. Let's put it to e8 for now. Nothing stops this. Nothing. It's just game over. You can't defend the h pawn. As soon as the h pawn's gone, his king is naked. It's just finished. He would almost definitely resign here. But I'd already picked the bishop up because I was flowing. I'm patting myself on the back. I'm flowing with moves. Oh, this is so good. And I started beating myself up at this point. I'm now only the computer's saying I'm only +3. Only +3. That's a whole piece, guys. That's ridiculous. Against anyone you win a piece up, generally. Well, I'm trying to explain what happens next. What sort of mental state I was in You know, I was once again a bit like the game from the day before. I thought I was crushing. I'm going well. You know, I still felt I was winning here even, but I'm like, why didn't I take with a pawn? And I couldn't get that out of my head. I couldn't forget about taking with the pawn. So here I stopped working hard. I just played casual move. Okay, it's all right. It attacks the queen. I'm hoping to put my rook here. Sorry, my rook here. Oh, not the queen. Just casual move again now. Just queen. And then I'm thinking rook in, and you know, game over basically. Is, you know, you can defend the knight. The bishop's going to attack you at some point. You know, it's game over. Yeah, just rook over and then bishop f7, something like that. And I'm just winning. But he could just play on, which he does. And I sat here, and I must say, I sat here and I thought for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and I was still beating myself up about not taking the H pawn. Look, I mean, look at the position where it's ended up now, to the one I was just showing when I could have taken the H pawn, which was all false, by the way. There's nothing he could do to stop that if I take him with the H pawn. And I just, I don't know. Again, a bit like when I did rook takes h3. I'm like, no. There must be something here. I haven't messed this up. Surely I'm still gonna crush through. I'm gonna crush through where I just need to play normal moves, and I'm +3 here. I am +3. You know, I can play f3. Eventually win this pawn. My rook's gonna get to the 7th anyway. You know, I just gotta maybe move my king, make it safe. I don't know, get it over to a2 or something. My attack's not going anywhere. And rush of blood. I don't know. And if anyone watching this knows how to stop me doing this, I want them to tell me. I took the knight, and you're thinking, what the hell? My opponent was thinking, what the hell? And he sat there a bit stunned, as you would, and he was like, well, I have to take it. He actually said that, and I'm like, yep. So he takes it, and I'm like, yeah, mate. No, it's not, mate. I was such a fool, because what I had in my head was, aha, gotcha, old man. You know, bing bang bosh, king here, and checkmate. And thanks, guys. I just sacked my queen for a knight against a 198. A few of the people around the table, they looked because I took the knight with a bit of vigor. They looked and they started nodding their heads, and I'm like, yeah. This is done. But unfortunately, as the game went, King G8 -8 because I've sacked my queen for nothing, and he actually gets an attack now. So I don't know what to say other than, you know, I played brilliantly in this game up to a point, and I know I'm, but it's just a travesty of a well played game ruined in one move. So here's the end of the game. Bishop h7 because there's nothing else. Bishop back, so I'm threatening the mate again, but check. King up. Got to stay away from the light squares because of the bishop on d7 is going to check me. Queen takes check, 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 resign. I'm -10 here. He can take the knight. There's no mates. It's just a disaster. You know, I've reflected about it. I'm still not sure what's going to stop me doing these silly things. So, you know, I'm honestly asking for advice on that one. So if you guys could tell me, I'd be really grateful. I mean, I can obviously bring the knight back to defend, but there's no mates. It's just, I'm just dead. This poor queen. I haven't got a queen. It's actually -21 now by the computer. So that's the end of that analysis. It's a disaster basically. But I do have 2 more walk-in videos to play. Now I'm not sure how loud these will be, so you may want to adjust your volumes accordingly. I'm going to try and bring the volume down just to see if it'll make any difference, but it may or may not. But here they come. Just bear with me while I add them onto the page. Media videos. Let me go to. That's going to kick in straight away. So let me try and do the volume now. Close that. Sorry guys, bear with. We're near the end. You've struggled through this far. So let me just, I think this is the turn the sound down. It shouldn't have turned the volume of the microphone down, but it should have turned the video sound down. So let's add the video. Video images. And Imperial College 2 I called it, because that's the kind of straightforwardness that I like. Right, here it comes.
Hey guys, welcome to day 3, the final day. As I said, I'll do another walking video each day, apart from obviously the Friday night, because I arrived just in time. Back in Kensington again. If you look just here, there's the Royal Albert Hall. Like I say, this area is just so beautiful. I mean, across the road you've got the Royal College of Music. I'm going to walk you up to the venue now. I'm a little worried that they're not actually open yet because I'm a tiny bit early. Round starts at 10 and it's now 20 past 9. So I'll either get in or I won't. I'll give it a go. As you saw, yesterday's games could have gone better. Not much better, but obviously I've got an issue with winning games at the moment against good players, and I need to get over that because I'm definitely dribbling the ball right up to the goal. I've just got to stick that ball in the net instead of just skying it or hitting a post or falling over the ball. Anyway, how good the venue's open. So this is me walking through. This is the Imperial College. This is the sign that says why there's no juniors in the event. I'm just going to walk through the courtyard and then I'll show you the bar. The bar's open. The bar's open, you know. Yeah, it's a lovely venue. Today I don't know what to expect. I should get someone who's doing equally badly, but unfortunately because of the bye I got a 4-point bye. So that sort of suggests that I did better than I have. But you know, I said there was going to be no easy games. Hey. Okay, just having trouble with the door. Now I'm going to have trouble with 4 flights of stairs. I'm just following my opponent who beat me yesterday. Not very happy about that. Might have to trip him up on the way up the stairs. This is the guy.
This is a good.
Yeah, he's very good. I'm good too. I'm just doing a video, but I'll talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very handy, and like I say, not lucky at all. I'm just trying to get a laugh out of him. Right, anyway, 4 flights of stairs, that's the only downside. There is a lift, but it seems as I don't get any exercise nowadays. This is about it for me. This is the room we're going to walk into.
Right, it cut off briefly because I'm an idiot, but here's the back end of it. I did another quick video, it's only about 50 seconds or so. So bear with while I find that one. Add video. Media. It's exciting because I got so close to the room and then obviously I was carrying a coffee at the time and an umbrella, so my hands were full. Hampstead, no, Imperial Part 3.
Just got cut off there. Whoops. And this is the venue. Too many stairs, guys. They used to be on the 2nd floor, but this room's bigger. It's like some sort of stage. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've got to catch my breath right now. I'm glad I came early. So like for the next 40 minutes I'll be breathing into a paper bag. Okay guys, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
So, those are the walking videos. As you can see, there's a few games missing. I mentioned that there was 2 games the day before. So after losing the bad Queen sacrifice game, I got a bye because I was the lowest scorer in the tournament, a 4-point bye, and I played a 180 in a friendly, not a friendly. It was a graded game, and it was interesting. It was a Nadorf. I was white, and I invented for myself a new wrangle because he played a slightly weird move order, and it was right, but I played badly later on. And to be honest, I think I was massively affected by that earlier game. It's hard to shake things off like that. Like the night before game, okay, I had some sleep. I then played the game the next day. Okay, I had no time to shake that game off before playing the 3rd game. And I've got to say, around then was when my cold started hitting me, and I wasn't even sure I was going to come on Sunday morning. So I had a quick beer with the guys, which was really nice, as I said already. Got home reasonable, went to bed, slept fairly well, woke up next day, didn't feel great, but didn't feel terrible. Turned up, played okay. Had a nice game against the C3 Sicilian. Outplayed him in the opening. I seem to be doing that a lot. Seems to be my strength, so I need to work on other facets. And then I just couldn't concentrate towards the end of the game and messed up a very, very nice position. Let's put it that way. So I ended up on 4 losses, and I withdrew and I went home to blow my nose and feel sorry for myself. But it's okay. This cold won't last forever. And I've got 4 in CL next weekend, so I'm definitely going to be doing that. And that's on both games regardless, because they're nice long games, so I intend to use my time. I'll do walk-in videos, etc., etc. But that's bye for now. So please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.